This is Ecotricity's EcoTEC Roundup show from Aotearoa's first and only climate-positive certified renewable electricity provider. We only source from wind, hydro and solar, and we are the leading supplier of electricity to EVs in Aotearoa. Switch today at ecotricity.co.nz. Welcome back to another roundup of news from the world of clean cars and green energy. Thanks for joining me. As you can still see, I'm in a splint after I had a truck accident last week. But for those who knew, thanks for all of the kind words you sent in my direction. We start today's show with the reveal this week of the week, the Rivian R2 electric SUV, which took place early on Friday morning, Kiwi time. Long held as being essential to Rivian's long-term successes as the Model 3 was for Tesla, the R2 is a smaller all-electric SUV that looks a little like someone shrank an R1S. But don't be fooled. Underneath, everything's brand new with larger 4695 form factor battery cells, a choice of 1, 2 or 3 motors, and fold-flat seats both front and rear. The rear window rolls down for longer items. It promises 300 miles, 482 kilometers of range per charge, and should have a starting price around $45,000. In a move intended to also save Rivian money, it will enter production first in 2026 at Rivian's Illinois facility before production moves to Georgia later on. Also unveiled at the same time was the Rivian R3 and Rivian R3x, crossovers that are smaller than the R2 and whose rear ends remind me a little of a Yugo in profile. We made a video on these, so check out the channel for more info. The erstwhile Ford Transit might be fast approaching its 60th birthday in Europe, but in the US it's celebrating its 10th year of sales, and as a consequence, Ford has announced a much-needed boost to the specs of its e-Transit. New for 2024, the e-Transit gains 21 kilowatt-hours of battery capacity for 89 kilowatt-hours of usable energy. This gives up to 32% more range on the high-roof variant of the e-Transit and up to 26% additional range for the low-roofed variant when compared to previous model years. In addition, Ford has increased the e-Transit's maximum charge rate from 115 kilowatts DC fast charging to 176 kilowatts, and its onboard AC charger is now capable of up to 20 kilowatts of AC charging. Last month, I was among the first to try out the all-new 2024 Honda Prologue for the very first time, and I was pretty impressed with what it offered as a family car. When I attended the launch event, there was some uncertainty over if the mid-size crossover would be eligible for US federal tax incentives. This week, though, Honda confirmed it will be eligible. This means the entry-level 155 kilowatt EX front-wheel drive variant will start from $39,900 after federal incentives, but before mandatory handling and delivery charges. For that, customers will get up to 296 miles, 476 kilometers per charge, but be warned, only models built after February the 26th will be eligible for those tax incentives, so do check build dates before you buy. Tesla has long sat at the top of crash test ratings around the world, with the company always placing passenger safety high on its list of priorities for its vehicles. But Tesla also has a habit of eschewing convention by designing vehicles in a way that's often different to the rest of the industry. Sometimes that's a good thing, and sometimes that causes unexpected consequences, such as Euro NCAP's decision to downrate Teslas that don't have conventional indicator stalks. It's all part of the agency's goal of cracking down on the overuse of touchscreen displays and instead rewarding automakers that use conventional physical control surfaces for indicators, hazard lights, wipers, horns, and emergency SOS functions. Tesla has innovated a lot, but I am on the side of sticking to convention when it comes to indicators. If you watched our review of the Hyundai IONIQ 5, you'll know that one of our biggest criticisms of the vehicle was its lack of rear wiper. This week, we learned that Hyundai has decided to fix that, at least in Korea, for the new model year. As its Korea market website details, there have been some pretty big upgrades added in addition to that new wiper, including a new external charge indicator, a larger 88 kilowatt-hour battery pack, a faster charge rate, an interior redesign with a new centre console and glove box, a new in-car infotainment setup that is finally, mercifully, compatible with wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. There's also over-the-air update functionality, something that was promised from launch, which is finally here. Pricing and further specs will come for other markets, we'd expect, pretty soon. Oh, and to confirm, the B-roll you're seeing here is from previous model years, as new B-roll isn't available yet. Following a pretty dismal January for its EV sales, Ford's February sales data is in, and it shows an 80% year-on-year increase. The reason for that growth? Ford announced some pretty big price cuts and cash-on-hood deals in January that made buying a Ford EV far more palatable, something I am personally aware of as I shop around for a replacement F-150 Lightning for my recently totaled Aotearoa. This month, expect similarly good sales data from Ford as it benefits from being the first automaker to turn on access to Tesla's supercharger network for its vehicles. That said, while Ford's EV sales did improve in February, I should note the brand's EV sales as a percentage of its overall vehicle sales remains woefully low. It, like so many other legacy brands, really needs to shift gears if we're going to truly see EV mass adoption take place. Following a meeting with Donald Trump that spurred rumours he was about to donate to the former president's re-election fund, something he denies, Elon Musk was fighting fires on a different front this week in an ongoing legal battle against OpenAI and its founders. Elon Musk filed papers against OpenAI last week, alleging that ChatGPT-4 was actually artificial general intelligence, and stated that the company and its founders are in breach of contracts concerning past agreements he made with OpenAI on funding. Why are we covering this all here? Well, OpenAI, in a blog post this week, said that it will move to dismiss Musk's claims, countering with allegations that Musk had wanted OpenAI to merge with Tesla. If that didn't happen, OpenAI alleged, Musk demanded full control of the company, and it's published emails from Musk that it claims backs that narrative up. Watch this space. We are moving to happier news now, specifically in New York City, where a trio of good news stories should make any EV fan feel happy. First, German company Swoby has installed its first 4 battery swap stations in New York City in collaboration with multiple organisations as part of the city's Charge Safe, Ride Safe initiative for gig economy e-bike and e-scooter riders. At the same time, Revel has announced a new partnership with Uber that will give Uber Pro drivers 25% discount on fast charging sessions at Revel fast chargers, and says it will use anonymised Uber data to help combat charging deserts in the region. Finally, charging provider Gravity, which is partly backed by Google Ventures, has opened a massive fast charging station complex in downtown Manhattan that consists of 24 charging stations that are capable of charging at speeds of up to 500 kilowatts. While no EVs have that capability yet, that is definitely what future-proofing looks like. We're off to another big reveal now, this time of the 2024 Dodge Charger, a vehicle that Stellantis says will include a variant that's the world's first all-electric production muscle car. Revealed mid-week, the Dodge Charger EV certainly looks the part of an all-out muscle car with a low stance and unmistakable muscle car lines. While it will be sold alongside a regular gas-guzzling version, the all-electric Dodge Charger will come in 2 trims, the RT and Scat Pack, both of which should begin deliveries later this year. In its most powerful variant, Dodge claims up to 670 horses and a sprint time of 3.3 seconds. The battery pack of both models is the same at 93.9 kilowatt-hours usable, with a less powerful RT promising over 300 miles of range. There's also a faux exhaust which I just don't know. I don't get. What about you? We're off to renewable energy world with our last story of the segment, and while the state of Florida has done what only Florida can do, banning offshore wind turbines in a state that doesn't have any yet, there's much better news for solar fans across the US. The news? The confirmation that solar power has yet again grown in deployment, with official figures for 2023 showing massive 32.4 gigawatt hours of photovoltaic solar capacity added to the US grid just last year. That's a record for the industry and a 37% increase from the previous record that was set in 2021. It's also the first time in more than 80 years that renewable energy accounted for more than one half of all energy capacity added to the US grid. And while that's different from grid generation, it shows the United States, despite its political idiosyncrasies, is improving its grid carbon footprint. Good job. Before we get to the last two stories, I have a question. Are you in the market for a new EV? Because if you are, and you live in Aotearoa, you should very much check out our buyer's guide at ecotricity.co.nz. It is packed with tons of information you need that will help you pick a car that's right for you, and includes details about available vehicles, daily lives with an EV, and so much more. So follow the link below and start that journey today. Last week's show, had it taken place, and I not had a truck crash, would have shared the launch of Renault's brand new electric model, the Renault 5, which was based on the iconic hot hatch from the 1980s. Due to go on sale in May with a starting price of €25,000, the Renault 5 is already creating quite a stir, and with just 1 week of pre-reservations in, Renault confirmed this week that there are 50,000 hand raisers on its waitlist. While it might initially launch with a 110 kilowatt motor and 52 kilowatt hour battery pack, as well as a more expensive sticker price, more affordable models are planned with a smaller 40 kilowatt hour battery pack and choice of 70 or 90 kilowatts motor. It's great to see Renault's newest hot hatch getting so much love. I just wish it was sold worldwide. And finally, Tesla's Cybertruck has always been marketed by Tesla as being a super tough go-anywhere EV for the apocalypse, but early owners haven't always found that. So, after numerous videos and articles popped up online showing Tesla Cybertrucks struggling with various off-road and inclement weather conditions, Tesla did a very smart thing and filmed a Tesla Cybertruck going off-road in Moab, Utah, tackling some of the toughest off-road challenges, including the famous Hell's Revenge. It proves the Cybertruck is capable as long as it's driven by someone who understands off-roading. It frankly reiterates that the vehicle can only do so much if it's being driven by someone who understands nothing about off-roading. And frankly, I say, well done, Tesla. And on that note, we are in fact done for the day. Before I go though, do make sure you've hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on the latest in EV news from this channel. And if you haven't switched yet, do switch to Aotearoa's first and only climate positive certified renewable electricity provider. It is super easy to make that switch, and you'll be helping the nation wean itself off dirty energy and onto clean green power that will keep the land beautiful for generations to come. I'll be back next week as usual, but in the meantime, be sure to check out other great content on this channel, including some lovely stuff from the amazing Gavin Kiwi EV Shoebridge. I'm Nikki Gordon Bloomfield. Have an amazing rest of the week. Ka kite! See you next time.